I'd like to give an example of how you can give your guides and your guardians a job. And most people are aware that we have guardians around us. Guardians would be people who have passed in spirit who are around us, and guides would mean energy that is never in spirit, never has been in spirit. But we can communicate to them and ask them to we can give them jobs and give them information. So let me give an example of that. If you are at a soccer game and you're playing a soccer game, right? If you are a performer on stage, if you are a person who has to give a lecture, if you are a person who has to teach on Zoom, these are examples of what you can do to help you actually sit with your intuition. If you could think of a person in your life who has passed, or a person in your life who you miss greatly, who is living, if you think of them and focus on them, someone who brings you joy and brings you love and brings you happiness, that energetic signature starts to radiate throughout your body. So what we do is we bring in the emotion of that individual, and then that individual, if they are past, then that emotional thought that you were having connected to them actually creates like a little highway, and they ride the highway and they come into your energetic field. It happens in not even in a second. It happens faster than that. But if we are having to do something performative, and I think about this example as someone who is very creative and performer minded, if you can place that individual in front of you, right? So if you're, again, speaking on Zoom or performing on the stage, but you put them in the audience of your life, you literally put them, and be specific. I'm going to place my grandmother right here on this side of my Zoom screen, or I'm going to place my great-grandfather, though I've never met him, I'm going to place my great-grandfather on the left side of these bleachers as I'm, playing this soccer game. If you place them there and then ask them to witness, you give them a job. Because they're always around and they're always witnessing, but in that moment, you're asking them to watch. And normally they come in and they'll watch from behind you, they'll watch from the side, but if you give them the job of, I want you to watch and just observe, you're gonna find that the way that you are communicating to everyone else in your space, whether it's a game or a teaching on Zoom or a stage performance, you're gonna find that everything actually changes for you, because you are opening up all these highways for these other spirit guides and guardians, etc., to be mindful and to be present as they're watching you. So you are now riding the super highway of emotions that's coming in, that's directly connected to them. It's phenomenal. It is an exercise that I do with young intuitives all the time, and you find that their brains start to settle. All that nervousness that they have starts to transition and move out of the body, and it starts to flow. So we don't pay attention to the anxiety and the things that make us nervous. We pay attention to the highway of emotions that come in, that is always connected to the love and the support and the guidance that you want from these other individuals. But there have been moments where I have been on stage, and I'll be missing my grandmother, right? And I just put her in the audience. And the moment that my human brain puts her in the audience, she actually is there, and I can see her, and I communicate with her. And all of my performing, or if I'm teaching, if I put her in the corner of the Zoom room, right? Everything changes because someone is watching you with pride. And when someone is watching you with pride, you perform differently. And that's not just creatively performing, it's performing, it's speaking. If you are a person who's a designer, all of that, it just changes. Everything changes and illuminates. If you are nervous and you go on a job interview, this is a great exercise, really. So place them behind the person that you're speaking to, right? And don't let it create more anxiety and nervousness. I would encourage you to bring someone in the room that does the exact opposite, that makes you feel calm, that makes you feel heard, that makes you feel supported. Bring that person in the room. And if you don't have someone who has passed, or someone that is living, because you can tap into the living as well, if you don't have someone that is past or living who does that for you, then you can pull into historical figures. Absolutely, you can pull into historical figures. Put them in the room. It works.